Okay, everybody, let's recap the lesson. So today what we're talking about is the law of sines. So if you have a triangle and it's not a right triangle, there's no hypotenuse. But what we have is opposite sides. So if I have an angle and it's opposite side, I have another angle and it's opposite side, we use the law of sines. So the law of sines is all about knowing a pair of opposites. So in our first example, I know an angle and I know an opposite side. Hey, Frankie.
I was just checking if I left my...
There you go. Yep. So if I know an angle and its opposite side, I can use the law of sines. So see an angle opposite side, here's another angle opposite side. So I can find the side C by using this formula. So I went, okay, 12 side over the sine of its opposite angle is equal to the side over the sine of its opposite angle. And then what I do from there is just cross multiply that up. I use my calculator and I get an answer times the sine of 83 divided by the sine of 54, and I get an answer. Pretty cool, huh? It's a really easy formula, okay? Now, if I want to find an angle, it's the exact same thing, except for I like to write the formula upside down. I always like to put what I don't know on top. It just makes it easier to solve. So again, in this problem, I have a pair of opposites. So you must know a pair of opposites, and I do. So if I have a pair of opposites, I set up this. So I went sine of an angle over its opposite side. Instead of 48 over 7 is equal to sine of angle A over its opposite side. So I set that up. Multiplied by the 4, and I went 4 times the sine of 48, and I divided that by 7. But I got a decimal because I'm looking for the angle. So anytime I need the angle, I always have to use the inverse. Remember the inverse? So I did the inverse of that, and sine inverse of that answer. I get the angle. So when you're looking for the angle, there's always a second step, and that's to take the sine inverse of what you got here, okay? And then I need to solve the rest of the triangle, so I knew that any triangle had 180 degrees in it, so I added these two angles, subtract from 180, and angle 6 gave me 106.9 degrees. I also need to find side C, and I went back and used this formula to find side C. So I went the opposite side over the sine of its angle equals the opposite side of the sine of its angle. I cross multiplied, brought that up. I used my calculator, went 7 sine of 106.9 divided by sine of 48, and I got an answer of about 9. Okay? All right. So it's all about opposites. In the back, we looked at application of it. So two lighthouses are 45 miles apart on the shore. The angle between the shore and lighthouse A is 58 degrees. The angle between the lighthouse B and the shore is 72. Looking at this, what I didn't know was this angle. I need this angle to do opposites, so I found that angle first. Added these two angles, subtract from 180, and I got 50. So then I have my opposites, right? So we found this side first. So again, side over the sine of its opposite angle is equal to side over the sine of its opposite angle. Okay. Multiplied up the sine of 72. I used my calculator. I went 45 times the sine of 72 divided by sine of 50, and I got an answer of about 55.87. Okay. Then I did it again. Okay. I went side over the sine of its opposite angle is equal to side over the sine of its opposite angle. I multiplied by sine of 58. I used my calculator, and I got about 49.8. Okay, that's what I had. There's the homework. If you have any specific questions, come see me, but that is the law of sines, all about knowing an angle and its opposite side.